What if the very thing you're begging God to take away is the thing He's using to save your soul? Imagine this. Every time you fall into temptation, every moment of shame, it might not be a curse. What if it's your calling in disguise? You've prayed, fasted, and fought until your body trembled, yet lust still lingers, and the silence from heaven feels like abandonment. But what if that silence isn't a sign of God's absence? What if it's actually His invitation to something deeper? You see, the struggle with lust is not just about sin, it's about discovering something much more profound, the depth of God's grace, the refinement of your character, and the forging of your true identity. The battle you're fighting isn't with your flesh, but with the lies that shape how you see yourself. It's a test, a preparation, and an invitation to depend on God like never before. What if the key to freedom isn't in instant deliverance but in the strength you find in your weakness? Stick with me until the end, and I'll reveal the truth that could shatter the chains you feel are keeping you bound. This isn't the end of your story, it's the beginning of your victory. Struggling with lust? It's not just a battle, it's a spiritual war. Discover the 7 biblical secrets to destroy lust before it destroys you. Click the link in the description to learn more and break free today. You've felt it, haven't you? The relentless pull, the constant battle inside you. No matter how hard you try, no matter how much you pray, that desire still lingers. The struggle feels endless, and at times it seems like you're fighting a losing battle. You've begged, fasted, even tried to remove every trigger, yet the temptation never seems to let go. And in the silence that follows, you wonder, why, God? Why won't you take this away? What if I told you the struggle itself is not your enemy, but your greatest opportunity? That very thing you despise, your weakness, your temptation, could be the very tool God is using to shape you into the person He's always meant you to be. You see, the struggle isn't random, it's not a punishment, it's a part of the process, a means by which God is refining you, strengthening your faith, and molding your character. We often think that victory means instant deliverance, that freedom comes in an instant snap of God's fingers. But what if the real victory isn't in escaping the struggle? What if it's in how the struggle changes you, deepens your relationship with God, and forces you to rely on His grace more than ever before? Each moment you resist, every time you choose purity, even when you don't feel like it, you are becoming stronger. The battle is teaching you endurance, humility, and dependence. So maybe the greatest gift in your struggle isn't freedom from the battle. It's discovering the sufficiency of grace that meets you right where you are. That's where true transformation begins. If you're ready to break free from the grip of lust and step into true freedom, don't wait. Get your hands on 7 biblical secrets to destroy lust now. The link to purchase is in the video description and pinned comment. Take action today. Before you can wear the crown, you must first endure the fire, the temptation, the struggle, the wrestling. It's all part of a greater process. The moment you find yourself in the middle of the storm, desperately praying for release, remember this: the battle you're fighting is not the end of the story, it's the preparation for what's ahead. There's a reason the road to elevation is filled with tests. It's not punishment, it's purification. When Joseph was tempted by Potiphar's wife, he didn't find himself immediately ascending to the palace. Instead, he was thrown into a prison. The betrayal, the loneliness, it seemed like God had forgotten him. But in reality, the prison was his preparation. It was the furnace where his character was refined, where his dependence on God grew stronger. It was a necessary detour before the throne. God often uses the test before the elevation to shape your heart for the responsibility that will come with it. Without the pressure of the test, pride grows unchecked. Without the trials, the refinement necessary for the calling ahead never happens. Every time you choose to stand firm, even in your weakest moments, you're being prepared for something greater. The struggle isn't here to break you, it's here to build you. The reason why the test before elevation is so intense is because it's not about what you're going through right now, it's about the destiny that's being shaped through your endurance. The temptation is just the enemy's attempt to derail your purpose. But if you remain faithful, if you press through, you'll find that the crown is waiting for you on the other side of the struggle. The fire doesn't destroy you, it purifies you for the greatness ahead. Your eyes are the gate to your soul. What you let in shapes who you become. Every glance, every image, every fleeting thought, it all feeds something deep inside you, whether you realize it or not. Lust doesn't start in the body, it begins with the eyes. It's a trap you may not even see coming. One moment you're casually scrolling or looking around, and the next you're fighting a battle you didn't intend to start. But here's the truth. What you allow to enter through your eyes has the power to dominate your heart. The enemy knows this better than anyone. That's why he starts with your vision, because if he can control what you see, he can control what you crave. The power of vision is so immense that Jesus himself warned, "If your eye causes you to sin, pluck it out." It's not a cruel command, but a wake-up call to understand just how significant your focus is. What you gaze upon will eventually possess your desires. It's a silent agreement with darkness, an invitation to be led astray. This isn't just about avoiding temptation, it's about actively choosing what you allow to shape you. Are you guarding your eyes? Are you choosing to turn away from what could ensnare you? The fight isn't passive. Every time you resist, every time you choose purity, you are not just fighting lust, you're strengthening your soul, aligning your desires with something far greater. The battle for purity starts with the eyes. If you guard them, you guard your heart. And that protection doesn't just come from avoiding temptation. It comes from filling your vision with something far more powerful, the truth, the light, and the beauty of a life focused on what truly matters. What if the very thing you're desperate to escape is the key to your freedom? We pray for deliverance, hoping for instant relief. Yet sometimes God's answer isn't a quick fix. It's an invitation to rely on Him more than ever. It's in the moments of struggle that we often discover what we truly need. Not freedom from temptation, but deeper dependence on God. Here's the thing. When you ask God to take away your desires, He might not instantly remove them, because He's teaching you something more profound. The pain of temptation, the struggle against lust, it's not a punishment, it's a process. You see, when God doesn't immediately deliver, He's showing you that your real need is not just a change of circumstances, but a change of heart. He's asking you to lean on Him in ways you never have before. This is where the power lies. It's in surrender. When you're weak, that's when His strength is revealed. Deliverance isn't about being strong enough to overcome. It's about being humble enough to say, "I can't do this alone, I need you." It's in that place of humility that true transformation happens. Your struggle with lust might not disappear in an instant, but with each battle you'll learn to trust God more deeply. You'll learn to turn to Him in the moments when temptation feels overwhelming. In the end, it's not about the absence of desire, but about the presence of God's strength in your life. The more you lean into Him, the more you'll realize that deliverance isn't found in escaping temptation, it's found in depending on Him through it. You've been told you're addicted, that this struggle is who you are, that you'll never break free. But what if that lie is the very thing holding you back? What if your battle with lust isn't proof of your weakness, but evidence that you're a threat to the enemy? Lust doesn't attack what doesn't threaten him. The very fact that you're being targeted proves there's something inside you that the enemy fears. You are not trapped in an unbreakable chain, you are being refined for a purpose. Your struggle is not your identity, it's the tool the enemy is using to keep you from your destiny. You were made for something far greater than the lie that tells you that your desires define you. God didn't create you to live in bondage. He created you to be free, to walk in the fullness of your calling, and to shine with His purpose in a world that's desperate for truth. Every moment of temptation is a battlefield, but it's not a battle of flesh and blood, it's a war for your identity. The enemy wants to convince you that you're nothing but your struggles, but God's voice is calling you something else. He calls you beloved. He calls you redeemed. He calls you anointed. Your battle is not against your flesh, it's against the lies that try to keep you bound. You are not defined by your weakest moments, but by the strength God has already placed inside you. It's time to break the chains of shame and declare that you are more than this struggle. Every time you rise, every time you choose purity, you are walking closer to the freedom that was always meant for you. This fight is not your end. It's the beginning of your victory. You are not addicted, you are anointed. The moment you expose your struggle, the chains begin to loosen. That's the power of confession. We often hide our battles believing that secrecy will protect us. But the truth is, what we hide in darkness only gains strength. Lust, addiction, shame, they thrive in the shadows, festering and growing stronger each time we refuse to confront them. But when you bring that darkness into the light, everything changes. What you expose, God expels. Imagine this. The very act of confessing is a declaration of war against the enemy. It's saying, "This doesn't define me. I'm not bound by this anymore." It's not about weakness, it's about victory. In the act of confession, there's a shift. No longer are you hiding in fear, but standing in the truth that Jesus already paid for your freedom. When you speak the truth about your struggle, you're taking away the enemy's power to control you through shame. Purity isn't just about avoiding temptation, it's about creating an environment where God's presence can thrive. When you choose purity, you're not just protecting yourself from sin, you're preparing a place where the Holy Spirit can dwell without resistance. And that's where the transformation happens. Lust, shame, and guilt don't just fade away. They lose their hold when purity becomes your foundation. But it's a choice, a moment-by-moment decision to say, I choose freedom over fear, light over darkness, truth over lies. This is the key to breaking strongholds. Confession strips the enemy of his power, and purity builds a stronger, more resilient spirit. Every time you confess, you weaken the grip lust has on you. And every time you choose purity, you're making space for God to do his work in you. Imagine wandering through a barren desert, feeling like every step is draining the life out of you. The sun is relentless, the heat unbearable, and every path seems to lead to more dryness. This is the wilderness, a place where nothing seems to grow, and yet everything is being prepared. It's easy to think God has abandoned you, but what if this very place of emptiness is where he's doing his deepest work? The wilderness isn't punishment, it's purification. God doesn't abandon his people in the desert, he refines them. Just like gold has to be heated to its melting point to remove the impurities, your soul needs the heat of trials to strip away everything that doesn't belong. You might not feel it, but every moment in the wilderness is shaping you into someone you can't yet fully see. In this place you don't get to rely on what's comfortable or familiar. There are no shortcuts, no quick fixes. You learn to depend on God alone. It's in the wilderness where you learn that his presence is enough, even when everything around you is barren. The struggle you're facing, whether it's lust, temptation, or doubt, is part of this refining process. It's not meant to break you, it's meant to build you. The Israelites spent 40 years in the wilderness not because they were lost, but because they were being prepared. They had to be stripped of their self-reliance and taught to trust God for their every need. The wilderness forces you to confront the truth about yourself, about your dependence on God, and about what really matters. It's the fire that purifies the heart, and though it's painful, it's the only path to the glory that awaits you. What if the very thing that hurts the most is the thing that keeps you closest to God? Imagine praying for God to remove your struggle, but instead he leaves the thorn. It doesn't make sense, right? We often view our weaknesses and struggles as obstacles to our faith, but what if they are actually invitations to draw near to him in a way we never could without them? When you're weak, that's when you need God most. Without the thorn, it's easy to slip into self-reliance, to think that you can handle everything on your own. But the thorn, the struggle, the temptation, it forces you to your knees. It reminds you that you can't do this alone, that you need God's strength, his grace, his presence more than ever before. And in that place of weakness, you experience God in a way that you wouldn't otherwise. The thorn keeps you humble. It strips away your pride and reveals the true source of your strength. Without it, you might forget the depths of your need for God. The beauty of the thorn is that it's a constant reminder that your dependence on him is not optional. It's necessary. The more you lean into him, the more you experience his grace, his love, and his power. God's grace isn't just about delivering us from our struggles. It's about meeting us in the middle of them. The thorn doesn't define you. It drives you to the one who is stronger than your struggles, the one who uses your weakness to display his glory. It's in the thorns that we discover our greatest closeness to God, and there lies the greatest strength of all. This struggle you're facing, this thorn that cuts you deep, isn't an accident. It's not punishment. It's a divine invitation to discover God's grace in ways you never could without it. The battle with lust may feel relentless, but in the middle of it there's a deeper truth waiting to be uncovered. The struggle isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. It's the very thing that forces you to lean on God, to surrender in ways that will transform you from the inside out. You don't need to carry this alone. The key isn't to run from the struggle, but to embrace it, because in your weakness God's strength is perfected. The thorn isn't a mark of shame. It's proof that God is near to you. His grace is sufficient, even in the hardest moments. And in the battle against lust, God isn't just trying to remove the temptation. He's shaping you, refining you, and preparing you for a greater destiny. But here's the thing, the fight doesn't end with just understanding. You need practical steps to win. That's why I've written a powerful guide, 7 Biblical Secrets to Destroy Lust Before It Destroys You. Inside you'll find actionable strategies, rooted in Scripture, that will help you break free from lust's grip and walk in the freedom God intended for you. If you're ready to turn this struggle into your greatest victory, to finally walk in the purity and freedom that's available to you, then this ebook is for you. You don't have to wait for the battle to end before you start winning. You can start today. Check out the link to my ebook in the video description and take the first step toward freedom. This isn't just about fighting lust. It's about reclaiming your identity, your purpose, and your relationship with God. Don't wait. Your victory is closer than you think.